get a goal, it's just the beginning. You gotta sing when you're winning, everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You gotta sing when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. Sing, sing when you're winning, everywhere you go.
Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Sing When You're Winning, a Fantasy Football League oddity podcast featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and two, not one, but two very special guests this week who we will reveal very shortly, unless you're watching on YouTube and you may guess already. But waiting in line for the podcast throne this week, it's myself and Steve, and we believe... Hello. We believe Jersey Chris, after his fake game of tennis this Friday morning, he's on the way. So he should be joining us very, very shortly. So for this week, me and Steve introduce ourselves first of all. And this week, I'm going to ask a question I think every guest is going to enjoy this week. Where did you watch the Leeds promotion party? Where were you at, Steve?
At Elland Road.
The best.
And I got very drunk. I got very drunk and very covered in alcohol.
Do you remember the Burnley game much then, Steve?
Yeah, because that was when most of the celebrating was really. The Leeds game was the Leeds game, and it was just a bit of a stroll in the park really for us. But the Burnley game, the Peacock pub, I don't know if you've ever been in there, but it was absolutely rammed, but more full than a match day, pre-match day, and it was just singing and dancing and throwing beer around, but it was all good fun. What a time to spend with my son.
Perfect. Well, what time did you get back into York on Monday night, Tuesday?
It was about 11 o'clock or something.
11? No, that's not too bad then. Not too bad.
Yeah, he wanted to stay out in Leeds and just carry on drinking, but no, I was at work the day after. So.
Good stuff. So yes, and we're going to ask our guests in a minute. I called it a game as well. I've missed that trick. Where were you when Leeds were getting higher in the league pyramid? I see. There you go. It's lost. I'm trying my best. Weak puns. I know you like.
Move along.
So much. But yeah, I didn't watch the Leeds game. I watched Middlesbrough play. So there you go.
Was that good?
No, it wasn't. But we yeah, exactly. Our special guest who shall remain nameless just did a fake tears, and that's pretty much where I was at on Monday. But hey,
maybe your joy lies ahead, Jamie. It might happen in a couple of weeks or something.
It absolutely could do. And speaking of Leeds, he's Jersey Chris.
Hello.
Hey.
Just been playing paddle. Sorry.
Yeah, we knew you were playing fake tennis this Friday morning. So it's all good stuff. But yeah, I can see we were asking the question. We're playing a game of I'm going to say it again. Where were you when Leeds were getting higher in the league pyramid? Where were you?
Where was I?
Yes.
What, on Monday?
Yes.
I was in the pub. I was quite drunk.
Wait, there's a thing. Steve said he was at Elland Road and quite drunk. But yes, did you enjoy? Do you remember the Burnley game?
We didn't watch the Burnley game. We went sat outside in the sun and had a few more drinks.
What?
Yeah, it was game over. I knew it was done.
You already knew. Fair enough. Cool. Well, congratulations anyway. It's just going to be a big Leeds promotion party celebration this week, because we're going to reveal. Well, before we reveal our special guest, Big Brother Watch, we need to cover that off before we get on. Chesney has made the final tonight because it's this Friday morning, of course. He's made the final, and you can head to the Big Brother app now if you wish and vote Chesney to win. He's in the final 6. Have any of you been watching Chesney in the last week or so? No.
Amazing. No, I've not done much.
More bothered about Leeds United. Yeah, but well done for making the final. We're rooting for you, Chesney. We're rooting for you. But let's get on. Introduce our special guest, and for the first time this season, we've got a returning guest. So a very warm Sing When You're Winning welcome for a second time, as we're joined by producer, writer and director and Leeds fan, very important on this week's episode, Derrick. Woo!
Does he get a special mug or something for 2 appearances?
I think if you get 3, we're going to do the Soccer M thing. Okay. If you make it to 3, then we might.
I can always use another mug.
Yes.
I ain't winning one, am I?
Or maybe we could do some Sing When You're Winning hats, like that Leeds hat that you're sporting so beautifully this Friday morning. How's your season going, Joe? Since we last spoke, we spoke to you early on. It was episode 6 or something.
Yeah. I was confident then, but I went through a bit of a dip, as most people did recently. But very much enjoyed Monday. Watched the game in the ground, and then we walked out, tried to get into the Peacock, and it was like a scene of some sort of warfare had taken place. So we ended up walking to the ice hockey rink and went into the reception there. And I said, "Have you got a game on? Is anything going on?" She said, "Got some lessons on." I said, "Have you got the match on in the cafe?" She went, "Oh, no, we won't put the match on." I said, "You can have the bar open." She goes, No, we won't have the bar on." By then, my daughter had gone in and said, "Dad, the game's on, bar's open." So we all piled into the cafe and had drinks and then watched the game and then walked back to Elland Road with 10 minutes to go. So we were stood on Billy's statue as the result happened, and it was quite a moment, actually. Quite a moment to be there. It was good stuff.
Excellent news. Excellent. Good. Well, we're going to be chatting lots about Leeds this week, and we've got a special Leeds-related game, a one-off, because of our next special guest. So this week's special guest, I always say, how do you describe yourself on X? So our special guest describes himself on X simply as an actor. So I did a bit more digging. I went onto Wikipedia, and he's a bit more of a clue. He's a Danish actor, graduated from the Danish National School of Performing Arts in Copenhagen in 1993. I mean, he can tell us if this is all true. Had his breakthrough role with the film Night Watch. He played Jaime Lannister in the HBO fantasy drama series Game of Thrones, for which he received 2 Emmy Award nominations. We have had a BAFTA winner on recently. We've now got a double Emmy Award nominations, and he's a UN Goodwill Ambassador, drawing public attention to issues such as gender equality and climate change. There's quite a lot there. Let's give a very, very warm Sing When You're Winning podcast welcome to our special guest, Mr. Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. Hey. Did I say your surname right as well? I should have said before. Is that right? Or did I get that wrong?
It was right. It was yes. And also, I work with Joe. So
you work with Joe. You do indeed.
We have a company together called
Great
Little
stuff.
Kiffords. Yeah.
Yeah. Last time Joe was on, we were discussing the podcast that you did, which was
Radio Man.
Yes, Radio Man. We had a good chat about that last time. But yes, good to have you on the pod because you're an incredibly busy guy, I understand.
Yes, I yeah.
Fair to say.
I do travel a bit.
And you've had a good week with Leeds United.
Where were you? Fantastic week.
Where were you when Leeds were getting higher?
I was here. I was watching drifting icebergs. I'm in Nuuk in Greenland. I was watching the game, and then I was getting constant updates from Joe from the ground, which was glorious. It's crazy, isn't it? 94 points. 2 teams on 94 points in one season. Has that ever happened before? Leeds never had 94 points, right? Isn't that the first time?
Yeah, first time.
But as I said off air, the quality of the championship, I think, is you've got 3 teams at the top.
Don't diminish it.
No, I don't think we should diminish anything here.
I'm not diminishing it. I genuinely think Leeds have been the best side.
Honest, as I always say when I beat Joe in anything, it's like he's never been better, and I think the championship has never been better this season.
Yes,
the quality has never been higher. That just shows how great Leeds have been.
Yes,
but how many teams in the Premiership? Well, I guess how many teams have ever reached 100 points?
In the championship,
Sunderland done it, didn't they?
Sunderland did, yeah.
Reading, Wolves.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Oh well, okay.
But
It'll
no.
still be...
Who cares?
Who cares? History will say that Leeds and Burnley got promoted. So.
But we are getting greedy. We'd like the championship, right? We want to win it now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would like you to stuff Bristol City this coming weekend, please. That would make me very happy if you could do that. So, but if you do that, Middlesbrough will still lose to Norwich or something like that. But yes, Leeds by far and away the best team we've played this season. I think it's fair to say. But yes, we're going to come on to chat lots more about Leeds, but we're going to talk about your season now in FPL, Nikolaj. So do you want your stats? Statman being on with your stats.
Yes.
So this is your 16th FPL season. So you obviously quite like a bit of fantasy football.
Wow. 16.
Yeah. Where does the time go? And you're 7th in Sing When You're Winning. Your debut season was your best, finishing 4th in 2018-19. You finished 8th in 2020-21. Apparently, you usually float in the bottom half of the Premier League, but never, ever really in any danger, Steve said. But your worst season was 22-23, finishing 21st as your great rival and friend Joe was relegated in 23rd. We needed to get that one in, sorry. But you're currently 18th and all but safe. So that feels good, right?
Yeah, it feels very good. And I think I'm winning this week as well.
Yes, it's a double game week this Friday morning. We're currently watching Arsenal against Palace in the background, and Arsenal are winning 1-0. Although none of us know who scored the goal by all accounts. So yes, but how do you think you'll end your season? Do you think you're going to go on a bit of a run the last 4 or 5 games? Or?
I think so. Yes. I mean, I think I was looking at it today. It looks good, and I have. But the only thing is, I'm playing one of the top 3 next week. I think. So I will do my best. What was the Ed's Chester's or something?
Yes. Yeah, Ed's is flying, isn't he? Yeah.
He's flying. But I think he's going to come to a sudden stop. That's the plan.
It's going to be a spanner in his title hopes.
Ed's is on tour at the moment. A few of us saw the Blue Tones on Sunday night, and so Ed's has got a few more tour dates, so he might be distracted. You never know by things. So we shall see. We shall see.
How are you guys doing?
Let's have a look.
How are we all doing? I'm in the championship. I'm on a bit of a run, but I'm going to blow it because I've got a chance. I'm doing a proper borough. It's like we've got the chance of the playoffs, and I'm going to choke at the last. I think I've won 4 in a row, but I triple captain Mamouche, thinking that's a sure thing for this week, and he's scored me 6 points.
That's not good.
Worst triple captain.
I triple captain De Bruyne, which I thought would be perfect because he wants to go out and he wants to show the fans. And no, it didn't quite work.
He doesn't seem. To be fair, he doesn't seem arsed. I think is my impression of De Bruyne at the moment, because he did come out a few days later and say, "Well, Man City didn't want me. Why?" He seemed a bit disgruntled at that. So I wonder if that's possibly shown through the last couple of games. Maybe I don't know. Probably. It's 1-1 this Friday morning. Arsenal Palace. Breaking news.
Good goal.
Live football as it happens this Friday morning.
Eze.
Eze, if anyone's got him in there.
Yeah, I've got him, but there's no hope for me. But I've got him.
Yeah. All of Joe's enthusiasm's been washed away by Leeds. I think it's fair to say. You've taken your hat off since we started the pod.
I started to get a bit of a sweat on.
Yeah, it's quite a warm hat,
the beer's coming out at last.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've just seen the replay of the goal. That is a class goal. Very good. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you'll have all seen it by the time we get to this pod coming out. But let's have a chat about. It's another double game week, so we're going to look at this Sing When You're Winning tables with Steve right now, because we obviously can't go through the scores so far. Do you want to give us the rundown of the table? Yeah, I pad for a bit longer while you get them.
Just looking at Nikolaj's fixtures, actually, he's got Ed's this week, and then he's got Alistair Bruce Ball the week after. So I think they're both top 3 or 4.
Oh yeah.
So it could be spoiling somebody's party there. Let's have a look. So live league tables, which might be changing as we speak. Premier League, Paul Chambers-Tonner at the moment is 6 points clear of Alistair Bruce Ball in second. So you've got him in 2 weeks, Nikolaj, and you've got Ed's next week, who's third, also on 60 points. Tom Bird has 59 points. Leon Farrer, 59 points. And then there's a bit of a gap. So Tom Roberts is probably out of it. Down at the bottom, Nikolaj does just sneak into the bottom picture there, but he's well clear of it, and I think pretty much mathematically safe after
disappointing.
Yeah,
tonight or Friday afternoon. I don't know.
The championship is where it's at, isn't it, Jamie?
Joe might not even be in the championship next season.
The championship is the best league in reality and in fantasy. Let's be honest about that.
So below Nikolaj is Rick Witter, who I think you are actually beating tonight. Anyway, then it's me on 39 points. Then a little gap. Dan Stewart's got 32 points, so hopefully they'll lose tonight. Michelle Gale's got 31, and Faris Badwan's got 30, and John Gregory is caught up a bit, but he's still bottom, and he's got 30. So that would leave possibly 2 points between the bottom 4 in that league. Championship, then, which Joe says is the best league to be in, is nowhere near the top of it. Jim Daly's top there. He's got 70 points. Second is Tim Ward, 63. Third is Stu Dunn with 61. Then Phil Pinder, last week's guest, 60 points. Tom Gregory, 59. Then a gap, and it's you, Jamie, in 6th. So you might sneak a playoff place there.
Maybe.
Down at the bottom is very tight there. Jonas is bottom. He's got 28 points, and he's 11 points behind Graham Swan, who is second from bottom. Then there's Alistair Griffin, who's in a bit of a war of words with Joe. He's got 39 points and is in the relegation zone.
It's one way track.
Remind us of that war of words again.
What is that?
Again?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Jonas was bottom and Joe was second from bottom, and Alistair put it out there that he thought the bottom 2 were already relegated, so there was no need to worry about them. But now Alistair's in the bottom thing, and Joe's gone above him now. So
I won 3 on the bounce, didn't I?
But Joe, can you actually?
Right up.
Are you safe, Joe?
No.
Joe's
far
won
from safe, but I'm
4. You've won
Alistair.
4 on the bounce, Joe.
4 on the bounce after Alistair relegated me.
And yet you're only 2 points safe, so it's not quite safe yet.
Yeah, I've lost this week, unfortunately. I can't believe I've lost on a double game week.
Surely another couple of wins, you'll be okay, I'd have thought. League One, then, that you're trying to avoid. Jamie Hurst there has got 75 points and is 14 points clear of second place and third place, so he might be promoted this week. Big Lee Nicholson is 4th. He's got 57 points. Ben Hope from Apollo Junction's got 53. Stu Kelly's got 52. Anton Witter just behind them on 51. Down at the bottom, Ben Taylor's got 30 points. He's probably getting relegated next week. Chesney Hawks coming out of Big Brother on Friday, but it might be too late for him. Nathan Clark's got 37 points. Tim Bresnan has got 41 points. He's in the last relegation place. And Craig Wilson, who does all the Leeds digital media, is just above him on 43 points. And in the Conference League, it's very tight between 8 teams. Pete Martini's top with 70 points. Ben Halliwell has 70 points in second. Then it's Natalie Pike, 65. Sophie Ridge, 63. Joe Singleton, 62. Neil Robertson, 61. And Vicky Sparks, 59. And Grace Maloney just behind with 58.
Good.
And I can't be bothered to mention the people at the bottom because it's just not worth mentioning.
Fair enough. And we've obviously got the cup competitions going on at the moment. Great stuff. We were going to have a quick chat around because it's the blank game week next week, isn't it? And does anyone have the free hit chip left for the blank game week?
Yes, I've played it.
Yes, I've got mine ready to play this weekend.
Do I have?
Have you got that still to play, Nikolaj? Have you got your free hit chip left?
No, wait. There we go. I have. Shit! All these chips I've got left to play.
You've got a lot of chips.
No, you need to get rid of them.
Yeah, you haven't got many weeks left to play them.
I suddenly realized I have 3 chips left.
Have you played your Ass Manager yet?
No, I never understood that.
If you play your Ass Man, it takes up 3 game weeks. So you have to be careful.
I was going to tell him to play it this week.
I would play it now. Yeah.
I would play your free hit this week if you've got it. And
I haven't got my free. I've got my wild card and my bench boost, so that's it. But,
yeah.
Play your bench boost first.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it? How many weeks we've got left? Yeah, you'd have to play those 2 now and then play Assman for the last 3 weeks, wouldn't he?
There's going to be another double game week, or possibly 2 double game weeks, depending on who makes the FA Cup final.
Yeah, the FA Cup final.
The Assman chip could come in handy that week if you picked a manager that was playing twice and stuff. So,
how many teams are not playing in the blank game week next week?
All the ones that are doubling this week. So Arsenal, Palace, Villa and Man City.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
So yeah, so that free hit chap's going to
So you might have a 5-a-side team next week.
But yeah, I think top tips would be if you've got the free hit chip, use it, or but I wouldn't waste. I did that at this point last season, which is why I think I got relegated. I stupidly used my wild card thinking I was using a free hit, and then ended up with loads of players I didn't want for about 4 weeks. So don't make that mistake either.
I've got 8 players for this week. Shit.
Yeah.
And you haven't got free hit left.
No.
Might be time to do the Assman then, because you can
Jamie,
get extra points.
If you have the wild card, you're advising not to use it this week.
I would say, because you could end up silly. You could end up with more players than you like, players that you then want to carry till the
Better
end
off
of the
taking a
season.
hit one week.
Yeah, I think so. But I guess it depends how badly you need the 3 points. But I paid for that last season because it worked for one game week, and then I suddenly had players I didn't want, and all the best players that I'd sold in that wild card I couldn't afford to get back.
I used my free hit in game week 3.
Oh dear.
But
Nikolaj's on the beach. They don't need the points anyway, so he could just do. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Nikolaj's safe. So, but
safe.
maybe it's an Assman week. Kick your Assman off. Get some extra points from the manager, maybe.
I like how many times we've said ass manager already.
Yeah, Assman. Yeah, we use
The
it a
ass
lot.
man.
Yeah,
Such a
we use it a lot on this podcast. Play your Assman. Right till the last. Right,
Move along.
Let's look at real football very quickly. We've got the FA Cup semi-final this weekend, so let's look at both of those and predictions. Starting with Palace against Villa, who do we think is going to win in that semi-final? Who wants to go first? Villa. Steve says Villa.
Villa easy.
Chris is saying Villa easy. Oh, really? Okay. I disagree.
I think Palace. I think Palace.
Oh, Joe's the decider.
I'd like Palace because my nephew's one of the cosplay ultras at Palace. You know, with all the black gear and the drum and stuff, and letting off the flares before the matches in the pubs and stuff. So, I'd like him to have a good day out.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for Palace. Always have since they lost the 1990 FA Cup final replay against Man U. But yeah, I quite like Palace. So the panel on balance then goes for a Palace win this weekend. Next one, Forest Man City. What do we think?
Isn't it inevitable that City are just going to win the
I
cup?
really hope it's not
City. Yeah, City's going to take it.
What'll happen is Marmoush, because he's done jack all in my double game week, triple captain, will score a hat trick at Wembley on Sunday. I'm betting £1 million on that one. I hope Forest, to be honest. I'd quite like it to be a Palace Forest final, and then I wouldn't care who won, to be fair. I'd quite enjoy just watching that.
See, I'd like a Villa Forest because of Midlands
All right.
rivalry.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good point. I just
Could
don't
you
want
just, guys, what's the latest on the whole legal thing with Man City? And when is that ever going to be?
I think they're hoping we've all forgotten about it, to be fair. Because no one talks about it anymore, do they?
No.
And yet other clubs are panicking. They're going, "Oh, you can't be spending that, can you?"
I have a theory that they're waiting to work out what is the point differential to ensure that they can give them the maximum points without relegating.
I bet you, with hindsight, I bet they wish they'd done it this season, given how bad the bottom three were. I bet they wish they'd just given them a stupid 20-point deduction or 30-point deduction, and they'd still comfortably be safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should have done that. But anyway, let's hope Man City. I know there's a few sing when you're winning managers who are Man City fans, so don't take offense, but I really hope of the three before the Man City don't make the final. To be fair, they've had such a crap season; they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to win anything. It's like Man U and Spurs, isn't it? If one of them two win the other European Cup, it'll just be embarrassing. They've had crap seasons; they don't deserve to win anything. Anyway, that's my rant. Liverpool Spurs is the other game, which appallingly kicks off at the same time as Forest Man City, which I just think is shocking. Where's the respect? You've got an FA Cup semi-final, and then you've got Sky playing Liverpool Spurs. So they'll be having Liverpool celebrating winning the title at the same time as an FA Cup semi-final. That's wrong, in my opinion.
True.
Shocking.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening, to be fair. The FA Cup should still be this like sacred trophy that's left alone. But anyway, I'll get off my high horse. But Liverpool Spurs, what do we think?
4-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
4-0 Liverpool. Anyone else? Higher?
Yeah, party time.
Yeah, something high and
4,
nil.
5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Salah hasn't scored a lot for a while, has he? So I think he's probably due a big game week, to be fair.
But hang on a second. How many points if Arsenal, if they don't win now, as we're recording this, wouldn't Liverpool already be champions? Or do they need to win?
I think the defeat. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We probably let's see this Friday morning.
Is it already over?
No, I'm just saying. My point is
the
Spurs. They don't really have anything to play for in a way.
No.
Either team.
No, if Liverpool win the title now, it could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Arsenal, basically, Palace only an Arsenal defeat would give Liverpool the title tonight.
Okay, it's a feat.
Okay.
So but to be honest, the way Palace are playing, you'd think they're being paid off by Liverpool because they're playing out this game. I can see this right now. It's one-way traffic. So if you were a Liverpool fan, you'd be getting excited, I think, right now.
I think even a draw Liverpool win, don't they? They've got a 10-point goal difference on them.
Yeah, well, I think a draw would mean that when Liverpool stuff Spurs on Sunday, it's going to be the title party, isn't it?
Either way, it's all over one way or another.
Yes, it certainly is. But yeah, it should be a good weekend of football.
But it's funny because it's kind of ended up being a bit of a boring season, isn't it? The Premiership.
Yeah,
Funny
trying
way.
to pretend that everyone's excited about the Champions League. It's like the race for fifth is hotting up, and it's interesting. Don't get me wrong, but
but
it's not
the biggest drama has been how bad he's been.
Yes.
And why isn't City? When is it going to happen? For 2 months, you were like, okay, well now City's going to come back. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it never happened.
We can't forget Man United in there as well.
Arsenal have just scored again.
Have they?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm watching it on the app, so I'm delayed. I've just seen it go in. Ruined this Friday morning by Steve.
Well, you shouldn't be watching telly. We're on a podcast.
Hey, if Jeff Stelling can do two things at once, then I possibly can. So there we go. Yes, Arsenal 2-1. So there you go. It's Palace. We're all over them. Cool. Right. Should we play a special one-off game? I know how much Steve loves these things when I do one-off things. So forgive me, but we're going to play a Leeds United game called Game of Thrones and Buckets. We're going to play. So
Joe's got his bucket hat.
Well, the idea being that the Leeds United manager position is like the Iron Throne. So we're gonna basically celebrate the fact that Leeds United won promotion, and we're joined by a cast of Leeds fans this week. Now, Football Fancast, whoever they are, with the help of LUFC data, took a look at the club's top 10 permanent managers based on their win percentages. So basically, I'm going to ask you to manager, and then we'll go higher or lower in the top 10. And basically, which Leeds United manager out of the top 10 has the best win percentage? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you
the top 10 are, and then you can try and put them in some order. And I'll make sure that I don't read the top 10 out in order, because then that'll just ruin the game completely. So we have Jimmy Armfield, we've got Gary Monk, we've got Dennis Wise, we've got Simon Grayson, we've got Marcelo Bielsa, we've got Howard Wilkinson, Don Revie, David O'Leary, Daniel Farker, and Gary McAllister. So yes, that's your top 10.
Dave Hockaday not in that list.
Not in that list.
Didn't get a win, did he? Didn't get a win.
This is win percentages. I mean, admittedly, Gary McAllister only managed for less than a year, so his win percentage naturally is higher. I was surprised to see Dennis Wise in there, to be fair. But yeah, we'll start with Gary Monk. Out of interest, where do we think Gary Monk is in the top 10?
5.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's 6th. So yeah, he's bang in the middle. 6th, fair enough. So we will pick, let's go Jimmy Armfield. Do you think he's higher or lower than Gary Monk in the top 10? And Jimmy Armfield was manager from October 1974 to June 1978. So quite a good stint to have a good win percentage.
But we went off, didn't we, in the 77, 78? So
Yeah, we did.
I would say low down, about 8th, I would say.
Bang on. Absolutely bang on there. Well done, Joe. So the next one I'm going to go is Howard Wilkinson.
How many years did he manage?
He was there from October 8 to... Was he? Nah, that's wrong. Till September 6. Was he there that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he was there that long. Wow.
George Graham was after, wasn't it?
A lot of this, right?
Are we going higher or lower than 8th for Howard Wilkinson? What do you think?
Higher.
He's now.
Higher.
You're going higher.
Sure, yeah.
It's a lot of matches, though, isn't it?
So you
It's
think
a lot of draws and a lot.
you think it's higher than 8th? Anyone else want to say low before I reveal?
It was like 3 good years, and then it was downhill after that, wasn't
Yeah.
it? So
Right.
I'll go higher by 1, 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go 7 as well.
I can reveal because I can tell you're all excited. He was 10th on the list of the 10. 43.45% win percentage, which is still very good considering he was in charge for 8 years or so. So yes, so this is going to be nice and easy, isn't it? Obviously higher, lower. But what number do we think Marcelo Bielsa is? And this is
2 or 3.
2 or 3, yeah.
3.
I think 4.
The bucket man is number 7
Really?
because his Premier League is not that good.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's what cost him. If we were looking at the championship, he rated very well against Daniel Parker.
Jesus, Farker is up there, isn't he? Let's be honest.
He's number 1.
Parker's got to be number 1. And he's got to be number 1.
Yes,
He's
you've called
lost
it.
an
Parker is definitely number 1. His win percentage at the point this was done was 59.2%. It could even be better than that now. This is about a
And we
month
still
old.
don't appreciate it.
You already have fans calling for his to get his replacement.
Yeah,
Well, apparently Jose Mourinho's linked now.
Oh God.
You wouldn't want him.
That'll end well.
You wouldn't want him. I think no.
No.
I think it's disrespectful of Farker to not be even given a shot at it, though. To be fair.
Yes.
Even the Leeds journalists have started writing pieces, if Farker keeps his job in the summer. I think it's so disrespectful,
Of course it is.
He's done an incredible job for 2 years.
Yeah. He's done what you wanted him to do. What more can he possibly have done? I think there was a WhatsApp group earlier, people whining about Leeds, which I thought was weird. And Steve pointed out quite rightly that you've only lost 4 games all season, as if Farker had done like a crap job or something. And I'm like, well, bloody hell, I'll take that. And the last one, we'll get this game out of the way. But the last one, where do we think Don Revie is? I mean, again, over a 13-year period, which again is phenomenal, isn't it? When you think about it.
2 or 3.
He went on a high though, didn't he? So 3.
Yeah.
He's sat at number 2, an amazing 53.3% win rate in 13 years. So
Those were the glory years.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If we look at this, he's really number 1, isn't he? For all Farker's got that record, Don Revie is the best. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
So he is the winner of Game of Thrones or buckets on this week's Sing When You're Winning. So I hope you enjoyed that random one-off game, especially for you, Lee. So it's now time to have a bit more of a chat with you, Nikolaj. So we ask everybody who comes on the pod, why do you support the team that you do? So why do you support Leeds United? My wife was doing some research when she heard you come on the show, and she went, you need to know that his dad was an Arsenal fan, so why does he support Leeds? So I was like, there's a bit of insight that I didn't know. So yeah.
Yes, that's true. Well, it was Joe. It's Joe's fault. He took me to Elland Road, like very young, 19-year-old, back when we were doing really well. And then that weird thing, you pick a team, and once you pick, you cannot unpick.
Very true.
And I had no idea we were going into this 20 years of hurt. But no, but Elland Road, I think, is just incredible. The atmosphere there, and that was it. It was just special.
It was a long time ago, but
It
was just. I remember you were a bit freaked out by the noise. Danish football's great, but it's You know, you can break into Danish stadiums and play on the pitch if you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because we were lucky. We went to a few years ago. Me and Joe went to South America, and we went to Buenos Aires, and we saw two games. We saw a game there with River Plate playing in the what do they call the Champions League in South America?
Copa Libertadores.
Libertadores. Yeah, we saw them play Medellin, but it was the same kind of feeling, just even more. We walked into the ground, so the whole thing was just bouncing. And this is an hour before kickoff, but like the passion. And I think that was the same experience I had when I went to Elland Road. And I was 19 years old and came into that whole. The energy was just. It's just something else, right? Wow. It was just fantastic. And then, that was it.
So what's your you talked about 20 years of hurt almost, but what were the lowest of lows at that point, and what are your highs?
I think that the highs were the Champions the European Cup, like in 2001, right? Where we were lucky we got to recreate. Joe and I went to the Champions League final. Was it 6 years ago, Joe? When was it?
Yeah,
it was at the San Siro.
Real Madrid v Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, it was San Siro, and the day after, on the Sunday morning, and that was one of the great things about being on that television show was that I got invited to these things, and they had a game Sunday morning after the final. There had been a competition for fans around Europe to win, to get to play at the San Siro, and me and Joe got to play, and then we went up and we recreated the goal, the Don McMahon goal. I still have it somewhere. It was glorious. It was glorious. I think that was great. And then the low point, I think, what was his name? The Chelsea owner who bought us for £1. It was like
Ken Bates.
Yeah,
that was just then the last, and then I think, to be honest, the high point was one high point. But I think when the circling that we had, that Marcelo Bielsa was going to be the Leeds manager, it was so unreal. And then when it happened, and the way it happened, and how I think he changed the club completely. I mean, that whole thing, his way of, his whole demeanor, his seriousness, his attitude, not just to football but to life, the way he treated everyone, it was just, I think, and I think that still carries on today in the team and the club, and the pride that was restored to the fan base, I think, cannot be overestimated.
I think Bielsa changed as a non-Leeds fan. I mean, I'll be honest. Years ago, I couldn't stand Leeds. I genuinely didn't like them. They were dirty Leeds, and I think Bielsa changed that for people like me and a lot of others. I suddenly had this newfound appreciation for Leeds, and I've lived in Yorkshire for 11 years, so that might have changed it as well a little bit.
Sure,
but I've got closer to I'm genuinely interested in Leeds. Obviously, I'd want Borough to beat them, which rarely happens. But like you going up this season, I was like, yeah, good luck to you. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, I might not have thought that. But I think the Bielsa factor for neutrals and non-Leeds fans was a big plus. We admired him and were like, wish we had a manager like that. And there's not many clubs you can say that about.
I don't know any other manager really. There's maybe a few, but that thing where you suddenly, he reminded you why you love football. Yeah. Like, it became like the beauty of the game and the whole community thing, the whole. I mean, it's so easy to make it into about just going to war and supporting your army and all that bullshit, and then you realize no, it can be so much fun to watch and to be part of, and I think that there's a reason why there's so many murals of him in Leeds, and I think his legacy will carry on. And it was still painful when they sacked him. I still find that was a horrible decision.
No, agreed.
It was like he was some all-knowing power on football, and when he spoke, you just wanted to listen to him, even though it was through a translator. But Every time a match finish, you're thinking, right, shush, he's going to be doing his match interview now. Let's have a listen to what he's got to say, because it was always something interesting. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever listened to Farke say a press conference.
Also,
anyway.
Yeah, he does. But who they had in their mind to replace him with? These guys have sat around a table and gone, "We've got Marcelo Bielsa as our manager. Let's sack him and get in."
Yeah.
Jesse Marsh.
Jesse Marsh. Because
they kind of sold it as though it was going to be the exact same football, but with a bit more pragmatic and defensive minded, wasn't it? It was horrendous.
But
it was
just watching too much Ted Lasso at the time. Is that what was going on there?
Yeah, that made it worse. I think. Yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah, I think it was let's do that one. And they obviously didn't watch the first series because Ted Lasso got them relegated. But anyway, there we go.
It was that.
But yes, we're going to ask some more questions now. We ask each of the panel to have a homework question ready for you, and Jersey Chris will be quickly going, bloody hell, I didn't even know who it was. So he's probably quickly rattling his brain for a homework question. I always kick off with this is a random question, which coincidentally kind of works. If you're a regular listener to the pod, you might have guessed the link. And so the first question this week, Nikolaj, is who was the scariest dragon?
Well,
if you listened last week, there was a link.
I mean, that is quite a good link for you. That's quite good for you, Jamie.
Yeah, I was impressed with that question. Anyway, go on.
Well, good. The scariest dragon. It was. I have no idea. What are the names of the dragons?
Say Duncan Bannatyne.
It was this one. This one. Ah!
You said you couldn't do impressions, and yet you can. I love it.
Duncan and Peter, I think.
Are they going to get you on the third series of House of the Dragon doing impressions? That would be a mess. They need to do. Be good.
I know.
Sorry, but yes. So yeah, I don't remember the names of the dragons, to be fair. But what was it like with the special effects then? Was it just that classic green screen stuff, and then that would come on afterwards? Is that how it would work, or has it got a lot better?
When we did, they had. I didn't do much work with the dragon. I did a whole thing with dragons where they were attacking us in season 6, and it was basically just it was a drone that flew over, so you had a drone to follow.
Right.
But it wasn't, everything was added. And then when they were riding it, they had a massive rig for, what's her name? Emilia Daenerys to sit and Jon Snow doing all that bits. It didn't look scary, no.
No, it didn't look scary. Fair enough.
No, it did not.
Good stuff. Good. Admittedly, you're a busy man, but if you did get the link, that was quite a good question by my standards. Anyway, last week we always ask the first question is based on the last week's guest, and last week's guest had been on Dragon's Den, so there was a connection there. You see, it worked. And next week I'll ask whoever the guest is something related to you. That's what we do each week. That's the first question.
It works if Nikolaj's ever heard of Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, so the Dragon's Den, is that where you go in and you pitch an idea?
Yes. Yeah. It's called Shark something in America, I believe.
Exactly.
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Yeah. So there.
Okay. So is this who are the smart people that they're pitching to? Who are the dragons?
The dragons in the UK at the moment, I can't remember them.
Yeah.
Peter Jones is the big one.
Jones is the main one, isn't he? And then they keep changing them, don't they?
Don't know any others.
And the Stephen Bartlett, he's on one of, like, social media and all that kind of stuff. He makes quite a bit of money out of that. But yeah, no, it's not like it used to be. There used to be a guy called Duncan Bannatyne who owned the hotels and stuff like that.
Wasn't it Alan Sugar at one point? No,
that's the Apprentice.
That's more the Apprentice, which is a great.
I'm going to say Alan Sugar. Alan Sugar is the scariest dragon. Okay.
Yes. Alan Sugar. Brilliant. I love it. That ticks so many boxes. Cool. And the final question for me before we go on to the homework, and we might have some listeners' questions as well. Do you want to explain a little, because you've been? I think there was a quote earlier this season about coming. I think Joe shared a quote about coming on this podcast because you were busy. Saving the world with the UN. Do you want to say a little bit about your UN work on here?
I'm not saving the world, but I am. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm a Goodwill Ambassador for the UNDP, which is the biggest health agency in the UN. So basically, I'm just try to raise awareness for whatever work they're doing. These amazing people that do all this. So I travel around, and then and it is quite incredible because but they can't really. They can't talk about it themselves because they always have to give credit to the local governments because it's all over the world. So it's everything from building wells to nation building like Iraq. But that's what I do.
Awesome.
Do you need reminding of that quote, Nikolaj?
What, sorry?
Do you need reminding of that quote that you gave Joe at the start of the season?
What was the quote? Yes.
Apparently you said when Joe was on, you can tell those guys to go F themselves. I'm at the United Nations trying to save the effing world, and they want to take the piss out of my FPL team.
Yeah, that's what I said. You know.
Amazing. See, we've not taken the piss out of you FPL skills.
That's good. That's good. And we love that quote, actually.
We did.
You notice he's only agreed to come on once he's clear of relegation.
Yes,
exactly.
Wise.
A wise move indeed. That's why we've not seen Dan for weeks.
It's in turmoil.
Dan's actually furious. He sent me a message today because the guy he's playing has played his triple captain or bench boost against him, and he said, "Why has he done that? Does he hate me or something? And he's got nothing to play for. Why has he done that?"
Not that deep. Yeah, he clearly didn't play someone with Marmouche. Then fair enough. I'll stop. I'll get over it at some point, obviously. But yes, homework questions. Steve, have you got some homework questions or listener questions?
I've got a full sack of questions once more.
No.
Ironically, Tom Roberts, who Dan isn't happy with, is playing you in the cup, Nikolaj, and he says, "Why have you triple captain against him? Are you heartless?"
I just, as I told you before, I suddenly realized I had those buttons I could press. I just pressed one random, and it happened to be my triple captain. But it didn't do anything. It was De Bruyne, so he should be happy. I mean,
apparently you are winning. You are winning in the cup. Apparently, I think you're winning in the cup and the league this week. So well done.
Well, there you go.
Next question was from Mike Bushell, who's from the BBC. I don't know if you know of Mike, Nikolaj.
Oh yeah, I heard he used to be here today, but
he was supposed to. That's
he
correct.
Take his dog for a walk, right? Something like
that. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, there's better things to do, isn't there? Take the dog for a walk is one of them.
No, but that's a bit of info from our Leeds group because when Leeds are losing, Mike tends to take his dog for a walk. And...
That's 15 minutes.
I see.
Well, Mike said, mentioning that he was going to be on, but he said bringing you on tonight is like putting Ronaldo on for Sean Derry. And Mike's question was, do you think Daniel Farke would be a good fit for Game of Thrones and why?
Oh,
he looks a bit of a Game of Thrones guy, doesn't he?
He would be great. I think he would be a fantastic guy for Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, it no longer exists, so that's a bit sad, I guess. I think Daniel Farke is going to be a great manager next season. And then he's probably going to be sacked by Christmas. But, for now, it's great. Okay, I had a question. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think, before we go into that? So what are your predictions for next season in terms of Leeds in the Premiership?
It's going to be hard work, and I'd be happy with 17th.
Yeah, just get to 17th.
I don't think we're going to be storming 9th place like with Marcelo.
So we have...
If you kind of look at the Premier League table now and the teams that are going to stay up, you got to just look at them and think which one of them is going to go down instead of us, and it's quite tough.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah,
but you never know.
I feel a little bit different because I think I've been watching these games with Man United and Tottenham, and I just watch them and I think they're so devoid of any sort of plan or shape or running that I think this team would beat them. Plus, we know we're going to beat the two teams that come up.
Well, we're playing Man United in July, aren't we? We'll see then.
Yeah.
Well, plus and what players do you think we have to let go?
Bamford.
Brendan.
Yeah, I'll go with Brendan.
Brendan and Max.
But do you think Bamford he's got a year left, right? is it like a De Bruyne situation with Patrick Bamford, where you go, well, we
I
still
don't
make
think,
some
I think
money?
he's going to be on big wages, isn't he? He's going to be on massive wages next year. Who's going to take him?
Middlesbrough might come in for him.
Meslier has to go.
I'd have
Meslier
him.
will go.
I'd have him back tomorrow.
He could stay where he's living.
Oh yeah, that's a
Team
good
up with
point.
Bill Ayling.
Oh yeah.
We need to find another Rafinha really from somewhere.
Oh yes.
Mana Solomon, mate.
That was another question. Your favorite players of all time for Leeds?
I feel like I was privileged to watch Rafinha play.
Harry Kewell was one of my favourites. I hate saying
Aussie Jewel.
but he was.
Harry Kewell, yes.
Mhm.
Nothing.
But I think you always go back to the first team that you used to go and see all
Tony,
the time. So for me, that was the 80s. And
Yeah.
so Batty, Speed, all that team.
McAllister, yeah.
Yeah. And most of the team could take a free kick then. It was Sterling, Derrick, McAllister's, Jack and Gary Speed. And then he goes Big Lee Chapman, so just nod one in with his head. What a team. Even though at the time I probably thought half of them were useless.
You always do that, don't you?
That is true.
Yeah, I think as a neutral, I think Leeds will stay up next season. I look at the team. There's a few teams hanging around the bottom of that Prem who could. You just need them to have a bad start.
Maybe Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, Wolves are always going to be potentially in trouble. West Ham again. I've not been impressed since Potter took over. They can always be in trouble potentially. But I think Leeds will go up and they'll spend money and they'll have that fight. And you've got a lot of young players who can only get better as well, getting promoted.
Yeah.
So I think Leeds will be exciting to watch next year.
Hopefully.
Right, so back to the questions. We've got one from Lee Nicholson, who's the stadium announcer. Nikolaj, I don't know if you know Lee.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He wants to know, what's your favourite chant?
Well, it's just marching on together
Yeah.
with la 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 la.
An excellent rendition. And he also says, when are you coming to a match next? Because he'll buy you a pint and some loaded fries.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they do those knee stand now, don't they?
Yeah. And which, to be fair, when you've had the loaded fries, you can't taste the pint, so it's. So do you know when you're coming back? Are you at Elland Road anytime soon?
In August, I'll be there for the new season.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have to organise a big meet-up for that then.
When do they announce the
Normally
schedule?
June time,
Yeah,
isn't
the
it?
fixture-
June,
the
yeah. I think
fixture.
it'll be in June, yeah.
But it's July. No.
It's going to be interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. Right. On to the next. This is an interesting one. The next question is from Rick Witter, who you're actually beating right now.
Yes. Oh, yeah. What is I had the little. I actually put a note down about him. This that he's probably the only one who's going to get this. But I know this week he was going for gold, but he ended up just chasing rainbows.
Oh, classy.
I love it.
It's good to see you do research on your rivals, Nicholas. Brilliant. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Anyway, Rick's got actually quite a normal question. Rick says he loved your film, The Shot Caller, in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
He says it was pretty brutal, but what was the experience of filming it like? And is it hard to break out of character from a role like that between takes?
Well, Shot Caller, if you probably don't know, it's a story. It's set in prison. It's about a guy, a white collar guy who gets into a crash. His best friend is killed. He's had a few drinks, so he's put away, and then he has to survive inside prison. And the only way to survive is he becomes part of a gang, and then he races through the ranks in that gang system. So it's about a guy who ends up not a criminal, but by going to prison, becomes a very hardened criminal. Anyway, that was a very long, great pitch for my movie here. No,
He's
but
still on royalties. Do you get royalties for that one?
Yeah, the more I can talk about it, I get yes. No, but I loved making that movie. It was tough it was a lot of working out because he had to be in shape. I don't, you're always affected by when you play a character, but I'm not. I can let it go when I go home at night. But yeah. So no, it's a job. It's not a therapy session. I know it is some actors, but not for me.
Yeah,
Nikolaj, tell them about filming the scene in the yard where there's a big fight.
Well, yeah, we have there's a big riot in this prison, and it's we shot in Santa Fe in New Mexico, and we shot at this prison that had been decommissioned because they had the biggest riot in the history of the U.S. 42 guys were killed, and we had 200 extras, and most of them were ex-convicts. But what was incredible was, and they looked like crazy, but they were so nice, they were so gentle. But once we called action, they just went, insane. And then there's a scene, but it was good. But we didn't have any injuries. The only injury was a scene later where my character at that point at the end of the movie is being dragged out to these cages, and then there's another gang member that he wants to attack, and he gets hit with tear gas. And we're supposed to have just fake gas, of course, but the prop master, mixed up the thing. So it was real tear gas. He hit me with like a massive stroke. So I was literally like choking out. It looks amazing in the film, but it was insane. Next day he gave me a whole these massive American coolers they have. He brought me a full packed with beer to apologize. It was worth it. But yeah, no, but I'm glad that Rick saw that film. Now I feel bad that I'm beating him now. It was a great question.
Well, there's what 40 minutes left this Friday morning to let him win.
Yeah.
If you want.
Well, sounded like you were describing the peacock on Monday. Next one, Ben Shires, who works for the BBC and works at Elland Road as well on match day host. He wants to know, what's the strangest place you've bumped into a Leeds fan?
Oh, everywhere. And it's funny because I'm always surprised how many people know that I'm a Leeds fan. But I think Joe and I were working on this docu-series called An Optimist's Guide to the Planet, where we travel around the world and meet these incredible people. And I was in Tanzania in this small village, and then this guy came running over, and he was both a Game of Thrones fan and a Leeds fan, and that was the weirdest place. Yeah, but Leeds travel all over the world. As this Joe keeps telling me, was Joe? You say it's the sixth biggest club? Was that
sixth biggest club in the world, by my reckoning?
By reckoning, yeah. No, it's
a couple of Spanish clubs, a couple of Argentinian clubs.
Yeah. A lot of Leeds fans in Australia as well. Australia as well. There's a lot of Leeds fans out there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's because that's where all the convicts went, isn't it?
Exactly.
Next one, Chris Payne, who's sometimes on our panel. He's given this question a bit of thought as well. I think I know what the answer is anyway. You've more or less answered it already. What in football gives you a feeling of Hygge?
Hygge.
Oh, Hygge. Oh, I see. I thought you were like something you smoke or something. I was like, what?
It might be for all I know.
Where were you when Leeds were getting high? We'll bring it back. Recall.
Beautiful. I think playing football. I love playing football. I think everything about it it's just such. It's another game where you can go anywhere in the world and you can always find someone to play with, or you can. It's just. I don't think any other. Well, maybe any other. We did. I think sport overall can do that. Like this, by the way, is my local Nuke table tennis shirt. Play table tennis. We also use that when we travel, because I always try to find someone to play with, because sport is just a great way to break break the ice in a way, get to talk to people, right? And it's fun, and it's so Hygge is also having fun.
So if you ever go to Jersey, you can play Chris at pickle.
Yeah.
No, not pickle, paddle.
Paddle.
I do play
Paddle.
table tennis.
He plays
Yeah.
fake
Do not
tennis.
play pickle.
Or you can eat pickles with him.
And Jersey Chris is also organising like the biggest festival ever with When You're Winning bands. So, so we wanted to make an appearance at that. We're working on this with
Very
Jersey
cool.
Chris. A couple of years' time, it's going to happen. So,
and that's about it. Apart from when Joe was on last time, he mentioned that there was somebody once insisted on that Joe was you in an airport. Do you remember that?
Yes, that is true.
Were you slightly offended?
No. I thought he was so gracious the way he handled it, and he's very good at it. I know.
So have you ever been mistaken for anybody else apart from Jesse Mark?
A lot of times, yeah.
Buenos Aires. Remember those girls in Buenos Aires? Sounds bad, but we're out very early in the morning. We went out early sightseeing because then it gets hassled quite a lot when you go out, especially when Game of Thrones was on. And we went out early. Do you remember around that fountain? It must have been 8 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. There's this big group of girls, and you could see them getting very excited. And it's like, and they came running over. And who did they think you were?
Some other actor,
like Ethan Hawke or someone. And when they found out he wasn't Ethan Hawke, they were so disappointed, just walked away.
I know.
Put their cameras away, everything. It was great.
It's such a mixed feeling of relief and also being offended at the same time.
Yeah. I'm not him, but I am.
Don't you know who I am? Come back. Brilliant stuff. Jersey Chris, have you thought up a question? We've given you lots of time now to.
You have, yeah. Nikolaj, have you? Leeds fans gonna expect another amazing Leeds United promotional video?
Yes, I think it's a thing that Joe and I have done. I think maybe we should think of it, but that was so much fun to do, and
it's so good to watch.
It was so much fun. Those two videos. Well, the last one we did was we did two, and then we did one for the European Championship, but that was not as much fun. Yeah, we should do one more.
Also, have you managed to send Sean Bean a message yet to see how he is?
I don't think. That's just mean, isn't it? Like,
it's funny.
But the only message I could say would be also for Middlesbrough, and it's like, because everyone keeps saying it's much better to be in the Championship, and the funny thing is we actually talked about that sometimes. Like, it is more fun to win, and I mean the thing about the year we're looking ahead to a year where we're probably gonna lose most of the games, right? And then that's going to be the whole, and maybe not.
There is something about being top half of the Championship, though, knowing that you win. You can go on a couple of weeks where you're winning 3 or 4 games, and that feeling is amazing. But then when you lose 3 or 4 games to the bottom, that annoys you. But at least you get that balance over the season.
But also, let's face it, Daniel Farke is not going to be top of that list after next season.
No,
of the highest win percentage, right? So there is that.
There is that indeed.
Well, he might if he gets sacked in September, he might be.
Well, like we said earlier, lots of Leeds journals would probably have him out before the end of the season. That's the tragic thing. He's not even finished the season yet. Give him a chance to win the title or whatever.
Yeah, but also, I think you need to stay with a group that's winning. It's you also know it's such a psychological thing as well. Like, they're used to winning, they know they can win. Mm-hmm. You don't want to break that up. You need, obviously we need new players, but you still have we have a good group of obviously, and they're winning 94 points. We don't want to break it up.
Build on that momentum. For sure.
Exactly.
But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Cool. So thank you for answering all those questions so well, and being patient with the amount, sheer volume of Steve's sack, which is now well and truly emptied. So that is good. We're gonna do sing. You're shaking your head, Steve, but you love it.
I'm sitting more comfortably.
Sing when you're winning superfan. It's time for this part of the show. Each week we test our guests' footballing knowledge and see how many questions they can get correct in 90 seconds. So
look at Joe's relishing this, isn't it? Look,
I know.
He got 6 points.
Listen, Joe is he does pub quiz every week. He's done that for 20 years. It's ridiculous. But there would be nothing. Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Has anyone got 0 yet?
Oh, shut up! It's going to happen now.
There is one person who is currently locked up in the Big Brother house who's got no points.
So this is ChatGPT.
It is ChatGPT, and sometimes it throws up bullshit questions. So if it does, if I don't spot it straight away, if the rest of this can call it out, and we'll stop the clock, and we'll ask you something else. Sometimes it asks you the easiest questions in the world, and sometimes it asks you like really tricky ones. So we'll get a mixed bag. Steve is our timer, and after 90 seconds, he will say something related to this week's episode. But just, are you familiar with the show Mastermind? I've started, so I'll finish. No.
Mastermind, yes.
Yeah, you are. So when the clock stops, if I'm mid question, I will finish the question.
Finish the question. Yes, that's more like that.
That, yes.
And I can one more question. So I can, if I don't know, I just say pass, and then you go to the next one, right? Because I only have 90 seconds. Okay, good.
Do say pass. Some people, Chesney in particular, hung around far too long on some of the questions. So we would say, pass if you don't know. And Jersey Chris, are you going to get your fingers in the air to do the scoring? Yeah, good stuff. Cool. So I'll start whenever you're ready. And the time will start with the first question. You ready? Good. Thumbs up, and it's working as well. We've got the thumbs up on the screen for yourself. I don't know how that works on some screens and others.
Me neither.
Cool. Right. First question. Which country won the 1998 FIFA World Cup?
Brazil.
It was France. Which English club has won the most FA Cups?
Man United.
Arsenal. Which club is nicknamed the Old Lady?
Juventus.
Yes. You can say fuck if you like.
Quicker,
which club did David Beckham join after leaving Manchester United?
Real Madrid.
Yes. Who was the youngest player to score in a World Cup?
Ronaldo.
Pele. Who managed FC Porto to a Champions League victory in 2004?
Mourinho.
Yes. Which club did Lionel Messi score his first Champions League goal against?
Barcelona.
Panathinaikos, it was against. Which stadium hosted the 2013 Champions League final?
Pass.
Wembley. Who won the 1992 UEFA European Championship?
1992, UEFA, Milan.
No, the Euros. It was a country. The Euros.
Oh, Euros. Come on.
1992.
Oh, 1992.
Denmark, yes. Which country won the 2022 FIFA World Cup?
That was the last one. That was, for fuck's sake. France.
It says it was Argentina, yeah. Who was the first goalkeeper to score in an FA Cup tie?
It's Peter Schmeichel.
Yes. Which team won the first?
Hygge!
I've started, so I've finished. This is really easy, sorry. Which team won the first Premier League title in the 92-93 season?
Oh, that's easy.
That's us. Right? Wasn't it? No. Oh, yeah.
No, this is the first Premier League. You won the last old one.
This could be crucial as well. This could be
crucial. I don't know the points, but I think you're doing quite well.
Oh, this is.
It's the year after Leeds won.
I know. And then, are we back at the Keegan?
It's 90s.
I know. It's always. It was. I'm not going to say this, but it's always Man United. Then it was always Man United. If it wasn't Man United, I'm going to have. Was it Man United?
You're gonna have to give a final answer on this.
Shall I take that as your answer? I think you've said it enough times.
Man United.
Yes.
Hey!
Was it not Blackburn?
How many did they get?
That was a year later. How many? Yeah. I mean, how many fucks is what I want to know.
Sorry, that was 2. I think I got 4 or 5 right.
Chris, what was the score?
6. Got 6 right.
Oh, you joined the jaw on the top.
That's horrendous. That's horrendous.
I mean, you did almost get Denmark wrong, which would have...
I was, but the worst thing was like, well, I wouldn't have Panathinaikos anyway. I wouldn't have gone that, but
no, you wouldn't have. But yeah, 6. Well done. You've shot.
Good pace. I think he kept a good pace going. Not like some people who did there a bit too much.
Yeah. And I was under pressure to get the next question. You were like, "Come on, speed up."
No, but I could sense Joe. Like,
I felt it was a very long 90 seconds. I have to rewatch.
No. It was just I had time at the end. Fair enough. I took my time at the final, but those are the rules.
Glad you didn't say Wembley.
I think if you watch it back, Joe was all happy and smiling at the start, and the longer it went on,
I said Wembley, didn't I? I think I said Wembley.
No.
Well, congratulations anyway. 6. It's a while since we've had somebody score 6. So yeah, there's
what's
a
the
few
top score?
7. You came so close to hitting the top.
That would have been unbearable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 6 is good. You can both be on 6 and both be up there. I think that's all
Champions League spot, that one.
Spot on. Yeah, exactly. We'll have a quick update on Bletchley Scott. Are you aware of Bletchley Scott, Nikolaj? You're aware of the team that we sponsor as a Sing When You're Winning group?
Well, that's a good idea. Bletchley.
Yeah.
I did a movie once set at Bletchley Park.
Oh, okay.
Do you know the story of Bletchley Park?
Yeah, was it the Imitation Game, or it was a film like that?
No, Code Breakers.
Code Breakers, yeah.
Exactly. It's
The
quite amazing.
Imitation Game was a film like around Bletchley, wasn't it, or something? But yeah,
it was.
Yeah, see, when you're not in the WhatsApp group, Nikolaj, you miss out that kind of crucial info on the sponsorship of Bletchley Scott.
So basically, this is the football shot. They're an under-15s team, and there's a load of middle-aged blokes wearing an under-15s football strip because we sponsor them. And we just think that it'll be really weird if in about 10 years' time, some random 25-year-old will walk past seeing one of us wearing it going, what the hell are you doing wearing that shirt? But we all threw it. I think we raised about, was it 350 quid or something to pay for their strips, for the kits.
Oh, great.
So we follow them each week, and they're currently sat 7th in the league, but they've got another week off. So they're playing this Saturday against Linslade Galaxy, who are 3rd in the league, but they drew 1-1 last time with them. So fingers crossed. And as ever, we'll say, come on, Bletchley.
Come on, Bletchley.
See how they get on. So yes, but that's that for this one. And the final piece of the show, as ever, the final feature is Shooting Stars in Their Eyes, which this could be very interesting, Nikolaj. Are you aware of Shoot or Match magazine? They were British magazines from the 1980s, 1990s. Football
magazines, yeah.
We didn't have football magazines in Denmark, so no. I can't.
So what it would basically, it would have posters and
I had posters.
Yeah, it was for kids.
I must have had something because I had everything on my wall. Yeah.
Do
you remember Alan Simonson?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. In the 80s, Denmark played. Did he score against England at Wembley or something?
He did. He was a European Player of the Year 76, 77. He ended his career in an English club. Bonus points for who can name the club.
Charlton Athletic.
I was going to say Charlton.
Well done.
Did he play for Hamburg against Liverpool?
He played for
Borussia Dortmund.
Yes, and then he went to Barcelona, and then he went
final, 77
to Charlton. Yeah, exactly. Oh, good memory.
Who scored the winner when Denmark beat England at Wembley in like 1984?
Jensen.
Well, that was
Jensen.
No, it's like an early one, in early 80s, because I remember being a kid and England losing at home to Wembley, to Denmark 1-0 and thinking, oh, how embarrassing we've lost to Denmark. I think, was it Olsen? Did they have Olsen that played right back or something for him? Was it him who scored or something?
I
can't remember. It's quite an old guy.
Yes, Olsen was later. That was much later. that was the Alan Simmons. The Henning Munk Jensen was also playing.
Yeah, maybe
for
it's
Madrid.
Simonson. Yeah.
But, yeah, Simonson scored a goal at Wembley, and it was a massive thing. It was
Yeah, no, I remember that
was
one. Yeah,
in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then he broke his leg at an opening game at the Euro 84 in Paris, which was just horrendous. Anyway, that's a whole story.
Yeah.
But no, he was on my wall. Michael Laudrup was on the wall as well later. Glory days. Anyway, let's go back to the magazine. The magazine.
The magazine. Essentially, there was in the magazine there used to be this kind of really badly written weak questions asked to footballers of the time, and so we thought it would be a great idea to go back in time, find these questions and ask them same questions to our guests each week. But as we've evolved throughout the season, Frankie Francis, who works at Sunderland Football Club and is also part of Frankie and the Heartstrings band, he said, "Why don't I pretend to be one of the footballer of the time?" So that's what we now do. So basically, if you could pick any footballer, you could pick a Leeds United footballer of the 80s or 90s, or you could pick a Danish legend. So is there anyone you've got in mind? And if you can do the impression, even better. But we want you to go into character as this footballer, and I will ask you the questions, and you can pretend that you're that person for the next 90 seconds or so while I ask you some quick fire, random nonsense questions. Does that sound like fun?
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yes.
What about Bentner?
Oh yeah, Nicholas Bentner. Yeah, let's do Nicholas Bentner.
Okay.
I don't get an impression of Nicholas Bentner, but I can definitely answer for him. I am
okay. Right. So
he's still
channel Nicholas Bentner.
He's still living the life.
Yes.
What did they used to call him?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Right. So tonight you won't get this reference either, but tonight Matthew, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau is going to be Nicholas Bentner. So this should be a lot of fun. So first
Lord
question,
Bentner, if you don't mind, Lord Bentner, please. Thank you.
First question, my lord.
Thank you.
What would you do if you could be invisible for a day?
Well, I would go into all the nightclubs I could. I would be butt naked and drink my ass out. Yeah, that's what the Lord would do.
Sounds amazing. Lord Bentner, what if anything frightens you?
Well, Lord Bentner is afraid of not being seen and heard and noticed. Yes.
Good. Well, and that's not as good an answer as Watford's Kevin Richardson, who back in the day said, "My dog Titus when Francois sets him on me." That was his answer. But anyway, Lord Bentner, back to you. What don't you like about yourself?
Well, I kind of messed up my career, which is a bit of a thing I don't particularly like, because I always saw myself as the greatest footballer of all time. Turned out I was wrong.
Definitely. What if you were on Mastermind, that quiz show again? What would your specialist subject be?
Cars.
Good one. And we'll come back to cars. It's our last question. But who is your favorite cartoon character? You a fan of cartoons, Lord Bentner?
Oh yes.
Yes.
My favorite cartoon cat is Fitter Hoybeam. I have no idea what his name is in English, but he's lucky cousin of Donald Duck.
Oh, I'm intrigued now. Who is Donald Duck's cousin?
Why is he so lucky?
Yeah, is he the father of Huey, Dewey, and Louie then?
Probably.
Lots of random Donald Duck knowledge there. Sorry. Who are your favorite pop stars?
Oh, my favorite pop stars. And which are we talking back in the day or today?
Let's go back in the day. Let's go back into the 80s.
Back when
90s.
he was playing for Arsenal, when he was there.
The noughties then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely Lord Bendtner is a big Liam Gallagher fan.
Yes, I can imagine. Have you got tickets for the Oasis 25 gigs then, Lord Bendtner?
Lord Bendtner, I'm going to go to all the gigs.
Oh, been busy summer there, getting drunk, being naked in nightclubs and all of that stuff, allegedly. And final question that we ask everybody. What was the first car you bought and how much did it cost?
Well, I can tell you the first car I crashed, which was an Aston Martin. It was just before game day in Arsenal. And my first car I bought was a Fiat 600. Wow. I have no idea. I feel bad because I'm sure Nicholas Bendtner is if he watches this, we all love you, Nicholas. This is all with love. You are a treasure in Denmark, and I'm sorry for taking the piss.
Love it. Thank you very much.
And congratulations. We should all say congratulations to Lord Bendtner. He's getting married. So congratulations.
Is he?
Yes.
Well done. A round of applause this Friday morning. But yes, thank you, Lord Bendtner, for joining us there on Shooting Stars in the Rise. We'll get Nikolaj back in the room now. Thank you for joining us on this week's podcast. So you survived this. You survived it. It wasn't as bad as you possibly thought.
I did.
Episode 38. Are you going to go back and listen to all 37 episodes?
I've got them all lined up now. Like, can't wait.
Just go listen to Joe's one.
Yes. Joe's is a good one for sure. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to you, Joe, as well, for being the first guest to come back twice. If we get you back a third time, like I said, we'll have to be thinking about that hat-trick ball or hat-trick prize, possibly in season 2.
He'll come back when he wins promotion.
Yes.
From where? From where?
Like Birmingham City.
Exactly.
Well, you might get a cup win in there, Joe. You never know. All to play for. But remember, you can follow us on Twitter at SWYW _FPL. The double underscore is important. If you're watching this on YouTube, why not leave us a comment, ask us an FPL question, and we might even discuss it next week, where we'll be joined by another top guest. But thank you again, as I say, to Joe, Nikolaj. Good luck with the rest of the season. See how you get on in the last couple of games. Use those chips. Don't forget that. And thanks to Chris and Steve. And as ever, enjoy your footballing week. Keep on singing and keep on winning. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hygge.